Hey everyone, this is Crystal, aka Sauce.
And this is Tanya, aka Season. Welcome to Sauce and Season, a podcast dedicated to real people to provide real talk and real healing on various topics. We are both wives, moms, entrepreneurs, and business professionals. Our hope is that through these topics and experiences we share, we can gain new insight for ourselves and provide new insights for others. We are excited that you decided to join us as we take this wild roller coaster ride that we call life together and hope that you stick around.
Hey everyone, this is Crystal, aka Sauce. Welcome back to Sauce and Season podcast. We are so excited to be rejoining y'all again after going on a brief hiatus, rejuvenated, refreshed, and we have a lot of things planned for all of you moving forward when it comes to Sauce and Season, the podcast that we're releasing. We are so dedicated to making sure that we provide y'all with what you need, and we're just excited to be joining this roller coaster ride with you all as we talk about various topics, some new topics, some old topics, just retouching on some of the things that we discussed previously. So our topic for today is breaking the myths of New Year, New Me, creating healthy habits. So as we all know, every year we start off the new year talking about our new year resolution. This year is going to be different. I'm going to be in the gym more. I'm going to eat more healthier food. All these lovely things that we like to convince ourselves about when the new year has come. Now, though, it has officially been a little over a month since the new year. And so that's why we wanted to start off with this particular topic, because we didn't want to start off with the new year in January. We wanted to see, okay, let's let things die down a little bit after the New Year's resolution and see what happens. It's just like, those people who go to the gym for the first month. And after the month is over, that's when all the normal people come back to the gym, because all the other people that was faking leaves. Right. So that's why we wanted to start off this new year's for February, talking about New Year, New Me. How can we really create healthy habits? Is it real, the New Year's resolution? Is it a realistic thing? How can we make it realistic if it's not? That's the topic that we have for today.
And I think the thing about it is that not only are we in a new year, but we're in a whole new decade. So I think a lot of times people got to look at what happened the last 10 years before, when we made those resolutions for 10 years straight and still didn't complete them. So now we're in 2020, a whole new decade, and thinking about New Year's resolutions. I think last season we finished off and I talked about the fact that I don't really do New Year's resolutions, and I don't call them New Year's resolutions. I call them goals. I set goals for myself. And one of the things, I was reading an article, and I can't remember who it was by actually, but I took some notes on what I did read. And one of the things that it talked about is you can't really set resolutions or goals when you don't have values. What are your values? What is it that you are trying to do for yourself? What are your guideposts? Because your values are your guideposts. Your values are the things that you organize your life by. So what are those values that you might have? And I know for myself, one of the things that I pulled out this year is I started pulling out more of my scriptures as far as what concerns me. I think we were in a class at church, you and I, and that was one of the things the leader of the class said. This year going into 2020, make sure you pull out what concerns you out of the word. So if you have been an angry person, a person that's dealing with depression and sadness, pull out those scriptures that represent those things in your life. And that's where you start with your values and your goals. Start with those things. One of the scriptures that I pulled out was Psalms 51, and that's 10 through 11. Create in me, O Lord, a new heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Holy Spirit from me. So my first goal of the year was to get closer to God. And so this scripture is what I came to him with. Lord, create in me a new heart, a new spirit. Do something different in me for 2020. But I have to align to either that goal or that value. And so that's what I think about. So when I think about New Year's resolutions, question for me is, do they work? What do you think?
I think it depends. I think over the years, New Year's resolutions has really changed, and it's not really about what it used to be.
Right.
Where I feel like, no, it doesn't work, because everybody just basically makes this list of things they want to do and try to achieve it. But it's not going to sustain, because if it's not something you really put a plan into action about, then it's not going to work out. It's the
Right.
same thing, like I said, as opening up with the gym. Everybody talks about, I want to eat healthier, I want to get my body right for summertime, you
Right.
know, and so I'm going to go to the gym, but they don't create a real plan. They don't say, okay,
Right.
how often are you going to go to the gym?
That's
What
good.
days are you going to be in there? What type of exercise are you going to do when you go to the gym? How much time are you going to spend there? Okay, eating habits, that's a part of it. Okay, what did you do a meal plan? Are you going to do meal prep? Like nobody does that. So that's not, you made a decision, but you don't have a plan. So
That's
their
good.
resolution is not going to work out because there's a plan, a idea without a plan behind it is just going to fail.
What I hear you saying actually is behavior change,
Mm-hmm.
because my plan, because I can still have a plan and not do nothing with it. I think a lot of what we look at and why people do not make it past that first month is because they haven't decided to change their behaviors. And that decision is not only started by what you write down on a piece of paper, but mentally, how do you begin to change your own thoughts about a situation? I think that it's been said that anytime you want to change a behavior, it takes at least 20 or 21 days to make a change in that behavior. I know for 20 something days I haven't eaten chicken. And there are times I'll drive past Popeyes, and I promise you, because that's my favorite, girl, drive past Popeyes and I think about a 2-piece of biscuits, some mashed potatoes
With the honey.
right, so with the honey and some coleslaw, right?
Oh
But I made a decision to myself that I'm not going to eat fried chicken.
mm-hmm.
And so what have I done? Every time that happens, I pass by it. Now, that doesn't mean that I haven't eaten a little bit of fried food. So to replace that fried chicken, I may go have some fried cauliflower somewhere. I know for some people that ain't fun. But hey, trust me, try it. It tastes good. Dip it in some ranch. It's great.
You made your plan. That's what you
right.
did.
I set my plan. And so the plan is I will not eat Popeyes. I will not do that to my body because I'm trying to get my blood pressure under wraps. So I'm making that plan. The other part of my plan for this year was I am going to work on not being anxious about things. So what I did is I went and I pulled out scriptures about anxiousness. What is God saying to me about anxiousness? And then spending time in his presence, targeting, why am I anxious? And it's been so good because just yesterday I talked to my husband, to your dad, and we talked about, I figured out some of my fear and my anxiousness is coming because I'm angry with certain situations, thereby I'm not trusting God. So because of that, now fear has come in, anxiousness has come in. So I have to put up my guard. What is that guard I have? I have to get back in the word of God and really get in his presence and deal with that bit of anger and those things so that I can now uproot the root of that thing. So that's part of my plan. But it's also, I got to connect God with it because it's a threefold cord. I can't do this by myself. So that's why I think creating those healthy habits are important. But then we got to remember, like I said earlier, values. And like you said, you have to have a plan, but those plans have to have some action or behaviors behind them.
Yeah, I love that. And you made a great point starting off and you talked about values. And I think oftentimes people don't really know what they value. What are your values? Is it family? Is it, professional development? Is it, finances and getting that in order? I think if you don't know what you value, then that's where you're going to have a hard time anyway. So I think most people need to start off with really having a honest check with themselves on what they value. And I'm going to, for everybody, I'm going to release like this, worksheet on our page, which talks about, it's like a value exercise where you can go up there, you can actually circle your values. Because I think if you don't really know what you value and what you value and how you value it, the next step of you really creating a real plan for your new year, new me is not going to work out. So I think values is the first place that you start. So I'm glad that you really mentioned that.
Yeah, because I think we have 10 more months left in the year, right? So that means that where we didn't meet the target in January, where we didn't meet the target, even February is not finished yet, but for February, we still have 10 more months. And part of that is to get back on task. And I think too, mindset change when it comes to how we think about the things that we want to do. Are we trying to run a race real quick and finish it? Or do we realize that it's a journey? It's a journey. So every day is something that you're doing different, right? So we can't fall for an easy answer. Okay. A lot of times we think, I met people who said, well, I'm getting into this business and, so-and-so said they making 6 figures. So I'm going to do it this way and make 6 figures. No, you're not. Because you don't know what it took for so-and-so who didn't give you all the picture to make them six figures. And so it's not easy. I remember talking to some young people, and they were in high school getting ready to graduate, and their statements to me were, my question was, what are you going to do when you get out of high school? Well, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Huh? Okay, so where did you pay your dues at? I'm confused, because sometimes you got to come out here and pay your dues. What money are you using to start this business? Do you have an in at the bank that I don't know about? Because, man, I'm in my 40s and I need an in. Right, hook me up, because I need an in into the businesses I have done and that I'm currently doing. So I think a lot of times people see the easy solution and they run for that. Mm-hmm. And when they see the easy solution, they don't realize some of these things take work. It's not as hard, it's not as easy as you make it out to be. And so that's why the resolutions dip. Because after the first month, it's not easy no more. Getting up in the morning, going to the gym. Mm-hmm. If you live in the South like we do, get in your car, driving to the gym, and then driving back from the gym, mm-hmm. okay? Exercising, doing all that, and having to get yourself prepared. If you're working, you have to get up, go to the gym, come back, get your kids ready, go to work, go to school, whatever it is you're doing. You didn't realize the task was that hard. All you saw was that Susie just lost 60 pounds by mm-hmm. going to the gym. But you didn't ask Susie how she did what she did. And so when you try to do it based on what you think you're going to do, you fail at it. And then what happens next is emotionally you fail overall, because then you start judging yourself and guilting yourself. I should have, would have, and could have. So some of this, we have to remember there's no easy fix. And it's going to take a change of behavior and a change of mindset towards those behaviors.
I love that. And I think that kind of moves us into talking about how can we create healthier habits, because we're talking about the fact that you made this New Year's resolution. Maybe you're at the stage now where it didn't work out. Right. You're not really fulfilled anything on your New Year's resolution that you plan on doing.
Right.
And that's probably because, one, like we said, you made your ideas, you listed out your ideas, but you didn't really put a clear, plan behind it, so it doesn't work out. So I have some, some steps as far as things that you can do to create those healthier habits to actually reach whatever it is that you want to do. The first step to actually have a new year, new you, without it being a New Year's resolution, but an actual clear plan, is to create your goals. Write your goals out. What are your goals? And make them reasonable.
That's good.
Make them realistic. If they're not a realistic goal, that may not be something you want to do. If you know that you want to go on this really expensive trip that's probably going to cost $20,000 and you don't have no extra way of making $20,000 in that year, don't put that December is going to be the year the time that you go on that vacation. Maybe it needs to be the next year. So it needs to be reasonable. It needs to be realistic. Create that goal and write out all the goals that you have that you want to really accomplish. And then be specific.
Right.
Okay, I said I want to lose weight for summertime. How much weight do I want to lose?
Right.
Let's be specific, because how do you attain something that is just open, to be opened up for interpretation?
Right.
Do you want to lose 5 pounds? Do you want to lose 10 pounds? How much weight do you want to lose?
Right.
Okay, I want to be able to go somewhere. Is there a certain date or event that you want to reach? Make it specific.
Right.
Put out exactly what you did. And I love the fact that, me and my family, the women of my family, we actually got together and we did like a mini vision board party, sleepover, which was great. That was really our opportunity to create our goals and make them realistic and make them very specific about what we want to do. Okay, I want to get a car. What type of car do I want to get? Or does it matter? Does it have a list of cars I want to get? How do I want to obtain the car? When do I want to get it? If I get this car, how much do I really want to pay for the car?
Exactly.
So we had to create those goals. And I would encourage everybody to do like a vision board every year, to start off your year or ending one year to go into the new year. So you really have a clear, realistic goal of what you want to attain for 2020. So first, you create your goals. Then you be very specific. Make it clear and plain exactly what you want to do and how you're going to obtain it, because that's the plan. You have to have a plan to support the goal that you're trying to accomplish. Because if I'm saying that I want to open up a restaurant, but I didn't put the steps of how I'm going to attain that restaurant, I'm never going to get it. And before I know, it's going to be December, and then it's going to be December of the next year, because I didn't create that plan. So that would be the next step that I would say.
Right. One of the things I was thinking about when you were talking about the vision boards that we did together as a family, one of the things I thought about is we also had books where we made the vision board smaller. Mm-hmm. So not only did we have a big board that we keep on a wall somewhere in our home, we also have a book that we wrote our vision boards in that can travel with us. So it's in our agenda. So every day for me, what I did is I took my vision board and I condensed it in such a way that it's in my agenda. So every day, every time I meet a client and I'm writing something out, when I open my agenda, the first thing I see is my vision board. What is it that I planned for my year? And then you know what? Although you wrote this vision board, that doesn't mean it's all set in stone. Right. You can go back and pencil out something and say, you know what? I don't think I'm ready for this yet. As I get closer to certain things, I don't think that's it. Or you can pencil in, I need to do this step first, then this step, like you said. And I think a lot of times that's what people do miss, is that they miss the part that they need to have it be condensed, right? You don't have to think that big. You can bring it back down. You know, one of the things that I love as being a speech therapist is when we're writing goals for our clients, we don't just write out the big goal. So what we do is we write out what you call a long-term goal, and then every goal underneath that is a short-term goal. Those short-term goals help us to get to that one long-term goal. And so that means for either 6 months or 12 months of the year, we're working on these short-term goals that ultimately it will look back at the broader goal and say, hey, we accomplished that because we did goal 1, 2, 3, 4 under the short term. Now we're back to that one long-term goal. So like you said, having a plan, sometimes condensing your plan, being specific with your plan, bringing your plan back to doable levels and not taking them wide range and you can't reach them.
Everything that you said are the next steps that I was going to touch on. And one of them was write down your goals, have it in ink. And the reason why, you know, most people say put it in ink is because if it's in writing, it's permanent. It's something you're saying you really want to try to do.
That's true.
We often have goals and we think about our goals in our head,
right?
But we write them down,
right?
And why is that? Whether it's a fear that we're not going to really accomplish it, or fear of, you know, do I even really want to do it? And writing it down is going to make it too real. So we say put it in ink. Write down your goals so that way it's a promise to yourself. You're writing it down. This is something you're saying that you really want to try to do. So you have to put the steps forward to do it. And so then you want to write down why. I feel like sometimes people just, that's where I feel like, you know, New Year's resolutions fail, because I feel like people just do it and say things of what they want to do, but there's no reasoning.
Right.
You make this list, you make this New Year's resolution, but there's no realistic reason. It's just something that we naturally just say every year, that people naturally say, I want to lose weight, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to eat healthier, because that's the phase of, you know, society right now. But there's no real reason why you want to do it. And so after you write your goals down in ink, I feel like you have to write down, why is it important to you?
Correct.
I think that helps make it a little bit more genuine, and it makes it more of something that you really want to promise yourself. If I'm saying that I want to get me a car, why is it? Maybe it's because I really need it. Maybe my car was conking out on me and is giving me problems. Maybe I feel like I deserve it. I worked hard and that's how I want to, you know, give myself a little gift. Whatever it may be, write down the reason why. If I'm saying I want to lose weight, why do I want to lose weight? Okay, my graduation is in May. I want to lose weight so I can actually look good in my dress for May, or I'm getting married. I want to look good in my wedding dress. Whatever it is, you have to write down why. If I'm saying I want to open a business, why? Why do I want to open up that business? What is it of importance to me that makes me want to open it up? That's the most important thing. And then place your goals somewhere visible. I don't know about you, Mom, but for my vision board, I have it right in my closet.
Yeah.
It has its own little area. And then for my pocket vision board, it's in my journal. So everywhere I go for work, I have it. You know, whatever I'm doing is with me, because I use my journal for absolutely everything. And so I feel like you have to place it somewhere visible, whether that's your refrigerator, your car, your bathroom mirror, wherever you realize that you spend a lot of time at. I feel like place it there so you can see your goal every day. So that lets you know, hey, have you done this? Have you done that? And I feel like the most important things I would tell people is don't get discouraged, though. Don't let it be something that discourages you, that you see your vision board. you didn't do something. Let it be motivation, because if it becomes discouragement, then you're going to end up having that same New Year's resolution where new year, new you, and nothing changed for this year for you.
Right. Don't grade yourself so harshly. We measure the wrong things, and that's something that I realized going into 2020. We put our how can I say, our hearts in places we don't need to have them sometimes. Mm-hmm. You know, I figured out for this year, especially since having my grands, that one of the most important things for me was my health. Why? Because I wanted to be here for them as they get older. I can't say for sure I will be here, because those are my plans and not God's. And that's one of the things that the scriptures talk about, Proverbs 16:9. The heart of man plans his own way, but the Lord established his steps. So I don't know what the plans are for my future, but I do know that, I spoke with the Lord and said, Lord, I would love to be able to be in a healthy place where I can play with my grandchildren, because I'm not young anymore. So how I used to run with you guys, I can't run with them. But Lord, to help my body get back in shape. So I've been able to put forth certain things when it comes to how I'm eating, how I am sleeping, how I'm resting, refusing to be pressured and stressed by things, situations, and people. I'm learning to create boundaries for myself. I'm learning that, yes, while I am a woman of God, a minister of the Lord, I'm learning to set boundaries. I'm learning to counsel people and speak to them about situations, but knowing when to cut that off, because that's a part of those healthy habits. Knowing when to say, well, what do you think? That's something I picked up from you being a counselor. Putting it back on you. Listen, what is God saying to you? Especially when you operate in a prophetic gift, a lot of people come to you and say, what does God say? Well, let me ask you, what is God saying to you? Because at this moment, he's not giving me a word for you. So what do you think God is saying to you? Because just like I can hear God, you can hear God. Because to be honest, God is speaking to everyone. He doesn't need a go-between. I don't have to be your go-between. What are you doing? Are you spending time with God and speaking to him? So I'm just learning how to put healthy perspectives in place for me, so that moving forward, I'm healthy, not only in my body, but in my mind and in my spirit as well, and in my physical man. So that way, all of it gels together and I'm running a healthy race, not only for this new year, but for even the next decade, God's spare life.
I love that. And, I feel like that's another area where New Year's resolutions, do they really pan out? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And that's because a habit is something that you create, that you've done over time.
Right.
I feel like it's so important for people to have a routine.
Right.
And if your New Year's resolution isn't going to be a plan that has a routine in it, I don't think it's going to be achievable. And so even now, aside from just setting goals, I have a planner and I use that planner. So whether that's your cell phone or your calendar in your phone, or you are a paper book person like me, because I love my pens, I feel like it's so important for people to actually have a planner, to have something that they can write down, that they can make notes in there, that they can put realistic dates, realistic times in there, so they can have a clear plan and routine.
Agreed.
What time you're getting up, or what time you have, this event that you're trying to get to, or if there's a particular goal that you're trying to accomplish, how do you achieve that goal? Okay, this is what I need to do. I'm having this meeting at this time. This is at that time. This is what I need to do. This is the schedule. So you can commit to it. And I think having it marketed in your calendar allows you to actually have and form a commitment. And then I'm going to say, stay positive. I think that's kind of, we touched on that, but just stay positive. If you feel like important. You didn't do a good job, just bounce back. I feel like New Year's resolutions fail because I said that I was going to be in the gym twice a week and I haven't done it. Well, you didn't fully create a plan, but that doesn't mean you beat yourself up about it.
Right.
If you can do it, it's still next week.
Right. And maybe twice a week is too much. So how about we scale back? How about we scale back to one time a week and say maybe for an hour? Or how about this? Maybe you're not going to the gym. Maybe you get up and take a walk around the block for 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Small changes, bring them back from these broad perspectives, because what we do is we're not realistic with ourselves. The first step is to look in that mirror and say what you know you can and cannot do. You know what I'm saying? For me, I know I'm not going to the gym. So you know what I did? I canceled my gym membership. However, I do have a treadmill in my bedroom, and I walk 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night. Another thing is, I think about people who are trying to create a spiritual relationship with God. What are you doing? Oh, I'm going to try to pray like for 5 hours like I see Pastor so-and-so do. Well, when the last time you prayed that much? How about you just get up and pray, period, maybe 10 minutes. Start somewhere. I know I'm not a morning person. Girl, I'm not a morning person. So your daddy wake up at 3 a.m, I feel the shake of the bed. I be like, oh, okay, hurry up, do what you do it quick. Don't turn that light on because I need to go back to sleep. However, I am a midnight person. So when I'm finished my homework, or if I'm finished washing dishes, and you know that of me, everybody go to bed and I'm still sitting on the sofa, and y'all will come downstairs and say, why are you doing that? Because that's the time I spend with God. So that's the time. You have to know yourself to do anything, to stay committed to it, and to reach these goals. I know I'm not a morning person, so I will not tell you I'm going at 6 a.m. to the gym. I'd be a lie. I'd be a liar, and you can call me one, because I know that's not what I'm doing. I am a nighttime person. So 11 o'clock, midnight, that's when you catch me praying. So write your goals, be realistic about them, and be realistic with who you are, and stop lying to yourself, and maybe that'll help.
Correct. And then the major thing that you said is reevaluate. Whether we're doing good on our goal or we're not doing good, I feel like you should just constantly be reevaluating.
That's true.
You're reevaluating to see if what you're doing is working, if what you're doing needs to be changed, if what you're doing needs to be having some different adjustments to it.
Correct.
So like whether you're on track or you're not on track, don't beat yourself up. Reevaluate.
Right.
Evaluating if you're on track and ways to make sure you stay on track or get yourself back on track. And so you got to read and reread your goals, reread the things that you said you wanted to do for the new year. That's the purpose of carrying or having a vision board visible to where you can see it. And so you can see your goal and see, are you doing anything to accomplish it? Mind you, if you have 6 things as far as goals and they're very big goals, you may not be able to touch on every single one every single day or every single week. So maybe you're focusing on one goal a month. Right. Whatever it may be, you have to just look at it and see, am I on track based off of where I said I want to be after creating your steps? Because you remember the steps for this. This is not just something you said and you just went and did it. No, you created your goals and you put your steps in there and you made them realistic and you made them clear so you know exactly what you want to do. After you've done that, you look at your visible goals on your vision board or whatever you may have and say, am I on track?
Right.
And that's the check and see what you need to do. And then I will tell people the major thing to do is congratulate yourself as you go through
it. That's good. Yep.
Give yourself a pat on the back as you accomplish little things. And sometimes it don't need to be a big thing of the goal that you try to accomplish. Maybe my goal was to finish an assignment. I was able to get 2 things changed.
Right.
Okay, that's I'm patting myself on the back, you know what I'm saying? Because maybe there was 10 things I needed to do, and based off of everything that I had with going on with life, I was able to do 2. Thank God.
Right.
You know? Right. So I feel like congratulate yourself as you do things, as you accomplish things. Give yourself pats on the back and give yourself, that acknowledgement. I feel like that's where we fail.
Yeah.
We don't, as a society as a whole, we don't do a good job praising ourselves.
Right.
We do things good or we do things right. We do not do a good job of giving ourselves our kudos. And that's something that we should do. You should give yourself kudos as you do things right because you made the change. You made the steps. So why not praise yourself? Why not give yourself pats on the back for doing things that you actually was able to do?
I do agree with you with that because a lot of times we don't do it. We wait for others to give us the roses and we don't know how to congratulate and give ourselves the roses. One of the things I've learned is I'm trying hard to break people pleasing. I don't need you to tell me I'm doing well. I'm learning how to tell myself I'm doing well. I'm also learning not to accept everything people say about me or for me. Like, hey, you got a wall built up. Nah, there ain't no walls here. That might be your wall. I'm not saying that I can't receive correction because I can, but I'm learning how to tell what is correction in love, what is harshness, what is someone beating me down because they don't feel comfortable with themselves. And then I'm learning how to let things go through one ear and out the other and congratulate and pat myself on the back. Was I perfect at roller skating? No. However, I didn't fall 3 times this time. So I got back up and I did it. So you see what I'm saying? I think that's where we have to be. We don't congratulate ourselves only when we get an A. I congratulate myself when I get a B too. You know why? Because you don't know how hard it took for me to get that B that I just got. So I think that people have to begin to understand that we are not perfect. Somewhere down the line in society, we have been told that being perfect is the answer. Nope, I'm not perfect. And if I was perfect, I wouldn't need Jesus. So therefore, I know I'm not perfect. So I'm humble enough to say, Lord, I fail every day. I fall a little bit. But I know that because you are my Father, you pick me up and keep me going. And by faith, I know I'll reach my destiny.
I love that. I just feel like I want people to know that you're doing the best that you can.
Right.
Like I said, starting off, we're halfway into February. So at this stage, this new year, new me has kind of died down from society now. And so now is the best, I feel like it's the best time to really evaluate what you really want to do. And
right.
It's something that is attainable instead of, going with the usual of new year, new me, I'm doing a new thing, having in the mindset. Now is an opportunity for you to really assess, is it something that you can do? And this is the best time to create goals because now the stigma of society and what you should be doing at this time has faded.
Right.
So there's something more that you can actually see if it's something you can achieve. And so I want people to really assess, how can you create healthy habits? Really put in place what you need to do to create those healthy habits and really start to create that plan to actually achieve them. I would say that's the best way to really accomplish the new year, new me. Set realistic goals, really put in a plan of how you want to achieve them.
Right. And I think for me, what I want to leave people with is the remembrance that God is in control. So Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know," that I is not you yourself, that I is God himself. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." So God knows all the plans that he has for you. He knows what he wants for you. And that was the New English Standard Version, I believe. So he knows everything that he has for you and what he wants for you. A lot of times, what it takes to complete some of the things that we have to complete is just pure surrenderance. I will surrender to the walk that God has placed before me, and I will take the boundaries off of myself and remove myself from the box and allow myself to remember that God knows the plans he has for me, that he created me, that he has goodness for me, and that he will push me towards the destiny he has chosen for me. And so that's what I want to leave people with, Jeremiah 29:11.
I love it. So we both want to thank you for listening in today and want to encourage you to go and like our Facebook page and Instagram page, Sauce in Season, if you haven't already. On both platforms, you will find a post titled Today's Podcast, and we would love for you to go under there and post your thoughts and feelings regarding this week's podcast, and also encourage others to listen in. We hope that you were blessed in some way with today's podcast, and hope that you join us again for next week's podcast titled Who Am I? Released on Thursday. Thank you and have a blessed day.